Fox Biz All-Stars here as well. Hadley, Heath Manning, and Scott Martin, Kaylee McEnany. So what was their sense that I see a great disconnect between all these people buying up stock downtown and all these folks you were talking to here uptown?
Well, the thing is, when you invest in the stock market, you're a willing investor. These people are not willing investors in the government. The government is taking their money, doing whatever they want. So all these people, I mean, they had a list of things they're unhappy with: campaign finance, immigration, contraception, foreign policy, healthcare, you name it. Every single thing was brought up when I was talking to these people. And it wasn't a partisan issue. They were fed up with the people whose party that they affiliate with. So it's a bad sign, but I actually think there is some good news to come out of it, is that people are aware and they will go to the polls with this.
All right, but I wonder who they take it out on, Kelly. I mean, I was reading a thing, and maybe it was the last time Stephanie was with us. We're talking about the one-third factor. One-third of young people don't trust or want anything to do with the stock market. One-third don't trust or like Washington. One-third don't trust or like the president. One-third roughly don't trust or like Congress. And on we go. There's this sort of cynical 1 out of 3 of us, largely young folks, who are just saying, the hell with it. We don't buy what's happening on Wall Street. We don't like what's happening on Main Street. What's going on?
That's absolutely right. They feel like they can't trust either party, and that's why we need a Ronald Reagan type figure to swoop in, save the day, and hit into this populist undertone we're seeing. I saw that when you were playing those sound bites. People don't trust anyone. They want someone who says, I feel the pain of sending your kids to college in these high debts. I feel the pain of high taxation, and I want to help you. Truly, I care about you. That's what they want to hear.
You know, Hadley, in these moments, great leaders arrive. I don't know who's out there to fit that bill. What do you think?
You know, great leaders don't just take a role within government. They can take a role within our society and our culture at large. So we may see some changes there. I think the silver lining with this poll, Neil, is that it's good for Americans to be skeptical of government and government's ability to solve every problem.
Yeah, but look at this
that's an
poll.
American
I mean,
opinion.
it's one thing that you can't see where you are, but that's a pretty jaded bunch there when that many people are saying, well, 93% have just really had it right now with Congress. And look at Obama and look at what it says about the Supreme Court. The fact of the matter is, there's no inherent confidence in government, as we know. Now, Scott Martin, that doesn't jibe with a Wall Street that's on fire.
No, it doesn't, and clearly it's not helping the poll numbers. Now, we know what's going on with Wall Street, Neil. The rich are getting richer, clearly, and that's one thing that's the big disconnect going on. I mean, the economy is getting better. It's just not where it should be, and that's not helping most of us. But look, I think your point or your question is a really good one. You know, who is this person that's going to rise out of the ashes and be this savior, this hero? That I agree with Kaylee. I mean, it's a great premise. I just don't know who that is. I mean, if you look at the youth vote, you know, they're voting on Obama's side 4 years ago, 6 years ago. Now what are they going to do? Not vote at all? I mean, we need voters, but we need people to vote with their heads, not so much their hearts.
Now, you know, we ran into something interesting, Kelly. You touched on it, that we're not necessarily off to the races, but we are off to that. And sometimes if maybe some guys as young as you and stuff, maybe if you're so used to just seeing the way the world's been since the meltdown, your formative years, you don't know anything a heck of a lot better. So is that what makes young people so jaded? Is that why they don't even buy a market or intrigued by a market? They just don't trust leaders. They see what's going on at the VA. And a lot of these folks you talk to say the disconnect is real because here's our real world.
Well, the same people that this poll talks about, Congress, are part of the reason why my generation doesn't trust the stock market. It was demonized. I mean, maybe justifiably so after the crash, but I think that, you know, it really did scare a lot of my generation. I know a lot of my friends were hesitant to get into the stock market, but hey, we're growing adults. We have to put some money away. We don't have any other options.
Did they not get Fox Business? Did you tell them to?
They watch it every
Fox
night.
Really?
They're slow.
They're slow.
Come around.
They're good people, but they're not
really
the
nice.
sharpest tools in the shed. Okay, so here's where we go. We go with a country that just doesn't trust our structure, feels if it's going to treat our vets this way. What does that say, Kaylee, about health care for all of us if we don't even provide it for our vets? That gets jaded fast.
That's right. You have a president who has sold us the idea that government can provide 18% of the economy. He wanted a single-payer system, didn't get it. That's what he wanted. And now we see the VA come crashing down, 40 dead veterans, and we're all looking around like, what, you told us you could run this. You can't. It's remarkable hypocrisy. And for him to keep buying into this idea, it's hypocritical.
You know, Steph touched on it before, and she's been out the street with folks before. I think people, Hadley, are very forgiving. I wrote a column on this for our website. Not that I'm one to print. You should check it out. But my point was, it's such a big deal for people to say I screwed up. Such a big deal for people to say I botched it. I dare say if the president said that early on about the health care law, this is on me. I really did think when I said you could have your doctor, you could keep your doctor. And my staff warned me about it, and I didn't do it. It's on me. I'm going to fix it. Just as I think it's on Republicans to say we talk a good game on spending, but when push comes to shove, we don't deliver on that. That's on us. We're going to correct it. Do like you do at an AA meeting, Republicans, stand up and say, we are spendaholics. We know what it's like. Learn from our mistakes not to repeat it. But no one does that. So that's what I think adds to the cynicism about Washington, because no one admits to a mistake.
Right. That's because of pride, Neil. That's because there's too much pride in politics, but that's the nature of politics. A true, heartfelt, real, sincere apology comes with a real change in course as well. So if the president wanted to come out and say, yes, I acknowledge that Obamacare's been a disaster, well, then he'd have to do something about it, and he'd have to repeal it, or he'd have to change direction significantly. So it's not just words that we need, but it's a real change in direction.
Scott?
Neil, look, I mean, this president does not, or even this administration, or even other members of Congress, I think to one point that was brought up earlier, you know, nobody knows who to blame nowadays because there's so much finger pointing. So you're asking the American people to sift through a pile of mud to figure out really who's to blame here. I hope, to Steph's point, though, they do take it to the polls this time, because in recent elections, we have not seen that happen.
All right, guys, thank you all very much. Steph, great job out there.
Thank you.
She loves coming here. Not really.
What,
right?
to work or on the street? Either way.
What to work. All right, coming up.